It's your time to shine.
Hey, now.
And what you wrote on the doc was a number of new games you'd want to talk about that I want to get to, but you also put Dark Souls 1 and 2.
I'm gaming, baby. I'm all over the place. Of course, as many of you know, I've been on a Dark Souls journey, Greg Miller. I have to prove to the world that I can beat these games by myself without the hard carry of Andy Cortez, Kevin A. Sachs, and my boy, Sad Boy Sean. So I've been on a journey. I don't know what the world's called. You know what I mean? We're going to call them the lands between. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's called.
Okay.
But yeah, Greg, I have now beaten Dark Souls 1 and 2 all by myself.
I think they're in Denver.
Thank you. I say by myself with a whole lot of winks at you because the chat is carrying me through all of this experience. And we're having so much fun. Dark Souls 1, what a treat to go back to the OG, the classic, and experience that all over again.
What are you playing them on?
PC.
Okay.
Jumping back on PC, playing the remastered versions, of course, Scholar of the First Sin. And as Andy knows, and the chat knows, I've always yelled that Dark Souls 2 has been my favorite Dark Souls because it's my first. And I think a lot of the conversations around Dark Souls are usually your first is your favorite, or now Elden Ring probably. But a lot of it is like, hey, this is my first one. I love this kind of moment of me remembering these things.
It's like Nick with Iron Man 1 and Nick with Fast and Furious 1.
Yeah.
Going back and
the first thing he sees is what he likes the most.
Yeah.
And so I've now completed Dark Souls 1 and 2, including all of the DLCs. They have some pretty meaty DLCs with a lot of bosses.
Damn.
And, I'm happy to report.
How long have you been working on this? I didn't know you were doing this.
Oh, my God. A long time. Probably the past 3 months now. We've been playing nonstop. And I am
Dark Souls 1 was a while back. Dark Souls 2 was more recent, right?
Well, they flowed right into each other. I just kept playing
Same
one
disc.
and 2. Yeah, exactly. Press the button, next one. And it's pretty amazing, They got magic in these games. Back in the day, I'd never used magic because it was always said by Sad Boy Sean, a little more difficult to find the items and be able to do it like that. Sad Boy Sean, you're so wrong. You know what I mean? Magic Pebble is in all of these games, and Pebble is just so freaking good. It's unbelievable. And so I made Steez the Source, Greg, and I've been dodging, I've been dipping, I've been casting spells on all these bosses.
The source of all things.
And so I thought I'd take it to the big board. Barrett Courtney, please bring up SnowBikeMike's PowerPoint presentation on SnowBikeMike's Dark Souls top 5s. I want to give you my top 5 bosses.
Computer that I started laughing at when you were
Audio listeners, it's a PowerPoint. He made a PowerPoint. There's a PowerPoint.
It's a PowerPoint of my top 5s.
He texted me
top 5 what? Dark Souls, what top? You can't just say top 5.
I mean, we're top 5s.
It's top 5.
Top 5s. It's top 5s.
Moments,
He texted me at 2 in the morning. He texted me at 2 in the morning asking me for a photo.
Yeah.
And I was asleep.
And you'll see the photo. Okay.
Come up soon.
Gotcha. I mean, it's not the photo I wanted, but it's a photo for you. Let's go over to outside looking in. Of course, the OLIs.
The OLIs, yeah.
The bosses looking in.
What does that mean?
Of course, they want to be on the top 5, but they're not on the top 5, so they're the honorable mention.
Joe, you gotta listen to Levitar.
Yeah, it's the OLIs, Joe. Okay.
OLIs.
Let's start off with the
for work now.
Capra Demon. A lot of jabronis in the chat said SnowBike Mike, this might be one of the hardest bosses. Get ready. One-timed it. Okay, Steve the Source, one-timed it. Did I climb up some stairs, freak him out? Yeah, I did. Okay. Broke that guy.
My least favorite boss. I hate this dude.
Yes, Joe.
I noticed that this is top 5s, but there's 4 things.
No, this is outside looking
These
in.
are the outsides looking in.
We haven't gotten to the top 5 yet. Yeah, this is honorable mention.
These are 6 through 9, Joe.
Thank you.
Up next, Smelter Demon.
Oh, wait.
This is
Smelter Demon comes back twice, just so you know. He's a red version and a blue version. Great closing the gap speed. Actually, sneaky athletic, if you ask me. I got to be honest with you. The guy has got a lot of game, but I defeated him, no problem. Up next, the Royal Cat Vanguard, because it taught me about crowd control, and I love games when you go to
Royal Cat or Royal Rat?
Royal Rat. But when you go to baseball games and you look up at the big mega screen and they do the hat and they say, which one has the baseball? This one, you have to find the king rat amongst 50 other rats to get the damage down. And then you pledge your allegiance to the Rat King. Shout out to the Royal Rat out there. What a fun time.
He's watching.
It's tight. It's real close quarters. It's a whole lot of fun. And then finally, give a shout out to this Medusa lady, Mithra, the Baneful Queen.
Mithra.
She's got a sick arena I want to give her shout outs to, because the arena is a big circle, but outside the circle is a puddle full of acid that will heal her and of course beat you down. But due to world design, if you do the extra side tasks beforehand, you could limit the amount of acid that is in the arena, cut it all off. So
Power washing simulator, Joe.
Thank you.
Those are my outsides looking in. Let's go to my top 5 right now for Dark Souls 1 and 2. Top 5 bosses. Of course, number 5, the iconic Gargoyles. Check out the font. Check out the font.
Yes, the gargoyles. The gargoyles fine.
Of course, you can't have.
Didn't really like
you still
delete
see the red.
Yeah, you didn't delete
right.
the rest of the background.
I'm learning.
Yeah, he's learning.
Of course, you can't have a top 5 list without the iconic bell tower gargoyles. I mean, you take on one, then his second homie shows up, then a third, and you think to yourself, man, I got this. No, you don't.
You don't got
okay?
this.
It's
You
just
don't
a
got
battle
this.
for your life. But if you're smart enough and good enough, you can chop off one of its tails. It becomes a weapon. Did I need that?
I didn't know that.
Absolutely not, Joe, because I'm a magic user.
Like
okay?
a weapon you can use or a weapon
Yeah,
that
it's like
they
a
pick
giant
up?
axe, I
Okay.
believe. You know, because his tail's an axe and he whips you with it. You got to be mindful of
cool.
it. Let's go to number 4 on the big board. Number 4 on my list. I've watched multiple YouTube videos. They all say this man's name differently, so please excuse me.
Sir Alone.
Yeah, there's
Mike, I don't know if you've ever worried about pronouncing anything correctly.
Exactly. Thank you.
Pronunciation's never been your priority.
Want to give a big shout out to this guy. Okay, tippy top of the tower, a beautiful set piece of just you and him one-on-one against the samurai. And this guy has got a giant samurai katana, and he's going to stick you with it, okay? He pokes me, and he got me a couple of times, which I will say, okay? Couple of BS moments. I was definitely to the left. He somehow got me and stuck me. I don't want to give him credit. I beat him, though. And also,
Collision's broken.
kudos to him. If you beat him without getting hit, hey now, special moment for you. Pretty cool stuff. That's a little teaser if you're that good.
I've heard about
he's got
this.
a second one. If you beat him without getting hit, there's a cool moment. Up next,
I've heard
number
about
3. Check out the font. Check out the font. Just make sure you check out the font. Of course, want to give a love to
Are those hearts?
Manus, Father of the Abyss. You have to embrace the darkness on this one. And this one is pretty special because you go into a giant dark pit. You can't see him at all. He's jumping around this giant beast. And this one made me feel a type of way because when I finally beat him, I embraced the darkness.
Embrace the darkness, Mike.
And I like this fight. He's big. He's hulking. He's all over the place. Check that guy out one day if you haven't played this.
Alex J. Sandoval asked,
Joe,
how
you
much,
taking notes on all this? So you gonna track these people down when you get there?
Alex J. Sandoval asked, how much money is Mike spending on fonts? He's clearly like being paid to use these because I don't know who would want to use these fonts.
That's beautiful Valentine's Day font. All right,
Oh, I
that's
thought it was
love.
Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
Mike,
there's
you
two
got to
hearts on
take the
all
stroke
letters.
off of that. It doesn't need to be that
You
much
know,
of a
Andy,
stroke.
I'm learning, okay? Number 2 on my big list. Number 2, everybody
fucking
loves
font.
this guy, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Artorias the Abyss Walker. I
The
mean,
goat.
you can't go a Dark Souls video without some jabroni like Andy saying this guy's the goat.
goat. He's the
okay?
goat.
And I will say, he be somersaulted, he be flipping, he be stabbing you. It's pretty sick, Greg, okay? And then at
Sounds
one moment,
great.
he embraces the darkness as well, and he takes on a new form, and he tries to kill you. Guess what? Steezosaurus, he don't mess around like that.
I'm pretty
Beat
sure.
him.
Don't
I'm
mess
pretty
around like
sure
that.
the guy we just saw, Manus, broke Artorias' left arm.
Wow.
I think that's the lore. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's broke.
Okay.
So that's why he's got that broken left arm, and he uses his right arm for it.
Yeah.
It's so badass.
Does he turn into a wolf?
No, Joe, his wolf Sif. You walk up to Sif, and Artorias is dead.
Yeah.
And Sif is guarding his grave, and you have to kill Sif. Big ass dog carries a sword in his mouth.
Oh, that's
fights
so
you with it. You
cool.
kill it, and then whenever you kill, I think Artorias, you hear like that. Ooh, maybe I'm making that up. Maybe that's my own
No, I think
headcanon.
so. I think so.
Yeah, it's great.
Also, this makes a lot of sense. Knew somebody with an Artorias in their username, and I had no idea what
There
it
it
was.
is.
But
Now you know.
definitely
Now you
a
know.
Dark Souls thing.
And of course, you're probably saying to yourself, Snowbike Mike, you have ventured now through the lands between Dark Souls 1 and 2. Who could be the number 1 Snowbike Mike Dark Souls boss on the big top 5? It is the King's Cats, Lud and Zaylan.
The yellow on this is hideous.
I
The
know.
yellow on the white is so hard to read. It hurts my eyes.
I didn't know what color I wanted. I wanted to make it gold for them.
Why did you put a stroke around
But I
that?
will say,
No, I think it has a yellow stroke on it.
A yellow stroke on the yellow text?
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
got deep
sure.
in my Duffy with that one, but
Yeah.
let me tell you about the King's Cats. Of course, the King's Cat are special because you have to go through a nightmare to just get to this boss instance. That many Dark Souls bosses, they figured it out where they kind of put the bonfire or the site of grace right next to the bonfire or next to the door so you can go in there. Not this one. This one, you have to run through a 5-minute gauntlet of hell in the frigid outskirts, which is a foggy ice-scape landscape with no points of interest at all. You just run for your life. And then these reindeer will spawn every single time a snowstorm comes in. And these reindeer, goddammit, they got closing speed you wouldn't believe. I mean, they're running 4.40s.
Safety is just Palomalo.
They proceed to run you over. Then you have to make a choice of, am I going to sit and fight these guys, wasting all of my health, wasting all of my magic skills to then get to the boss and be super short, or am I going to run it out? And when I say you have to run the gauntlet, ladies and gentlemen, you have to absolutely run the gauntlet. They will probably spawn about 8 of these by the time you get to the boss store. So good luck. But I beat them, and I'm a champion, okay?
King's Cats.
King's Cats. And of course, I just wanted to make sure everybody in the office knew our final slide, Barrett Courtney. The number 1 Souls player in the office. Now that I've completed Dark Souls 2, I'm the only one in this office to do so. So I now own the title of number 1 Souls player in the office. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I worked hard for that one.
This is the photo you asked me for.
I wanted the one
Because I remember
where
I photoshopped it.
I wanted the one where I was shirtless in the parking lot.
Oh. The first week of us working here, me driving in and Mike shirtless with the chest up to the sun.
That's what I wanted.
Well, Mike, you had already beaten Dark Souls 2 before you did it recently. So you were always the number 1 in the office.
Yeah, but like now
Nice
I've beaten it
proving
by
it, nice
myself.
proving it.
Oh,
Proven,
gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
So if you
okay.
want any sort of Souls-born content, you come to me, okay?
Gotcha.
And so Andy beats it, I'm number 1, ladies and
Gotcha.
gentlemen.
Gosh damn.
And so that's my journey. It's been a great journey. Dark Souls 2, not as bad as people talk about. I still think it is my favorite out of 1 and 2.
Oh.
If we put that combo up right there, I really like the worlds. I love the healing pebbles as opposed to just only having the
Flask?
Yeah, the flask. You have these healing pebbles, which is nice to be able to shoot off, and they heal over time, which I think is really good for a player like me who's maybe not that good and needs a little more resources to help out. I love the levels of how funky and weird it gets from you start off in this crazy like Nebraska cornfield that's just full of acid and the giant windmill, and then you'll go up
Nebraska with their acid pools.
to the,
Well known. They're well known for that. On your way to Kearney, you're going to hit a lot of it.
you go to the top of the windmill, and then you take an elevator above it, which goes into the sky. Guess what? You're in some sort of magma volcano, giant iron forge, right? And you're like, this doesn't even make sense. And then you get past that, you go to another elevator all the way to the top.
That's Montana.
And it ends up in a beautiful dragon-like vista with a giant dragon cage. It's sick. So yeah, I really like Dark Souls 2. Watched my first H-Bomber guy because of it. I was
really?
I was trying to find out, like, why do people hate Dark
That's not
Souls
your
2?
first
What's the deal?
H-Bomber guy?
This is the first one I've ever sat and, like, actually watched.
Oh,
you know what I
that's
mean? Like, I've
right.
clicked on him a couple times and get whatever.
Because we were
you know?
watching the Tommy Tallarico one.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
and so this is the first one. I highly recommend you check out that guy. He's pretty good. You know what I mean? I'll give him, he's pretty good guy.
Here, see,
Also,
if
pizza, pretty good food.
If that's a gateway for you, I'm going to send you Mega 64, the Dark Souls of news journalism. So there you go. Now you know what I mean.
Call
Come
me.
full
Maybe
circle.
I got your merch.
Come full circle.
So yeah, that's my Dark Souls 1 and 2 impressions and gameplay so far. Been a ton of fun.
You want to score 'em?
Dark Souls 1 and 2.
10s and 10s.
I mean, they're both fantastic. I'm going to give them 9s and 9s because we live in an Elden Ring world now where Elden Ring is king. And, they're great games. They're fantastic games.